What if one single city decided the fate of the largest and deadliest war in human history? In 1942, as World War II raged across continents, that city stood on the banks of the Volga River, and its name was Stalingrad. At the time, Germany controlled most of Europe and appeared nearly unstoppable. But beneath that dominance lay a dangerous weakness: fuel. Germany's war machine depended entirely on oil, and the richest oil fields lay far to the south in the Caucasus. To reach them, the German dictator's armies needed to secure southern Russia, and standing directly in their path was Stalingrad. The city was a major industrial center, producing tanks, weapons, and ammunition for the Soviet Union, and a vital transport hub controlling all traffic along the Volga River. In August 1942, the German Sixth Army launched its assault. It began with massive Luftwaffe bombing raids that reduced entire districts of the city to rubble within days, killing tens of thousands of civilians before the ground fighting even began. German commanders believed this destruction would break Soviet resistance quickly, but instead, the ruins transformed Stalingrad into one of the most brutal battlefields in history. The collapsed factories, shattered apartments, and burned-out buildings became perfect defensive positions. The fight devolved into close-quarters combat so intense that soldiers called it Rattenkrieg, or Rat War. Battles were no longer fought street by street, but room by room, staircase by staircase. With some positions changing hands multiple times in a single day, snipers dominated the ruins, none more famous than Vasily Zaitsev, whose incredible skills spread fear among German troops and boosted Soviet morale. As casualties mounted on both sides, Stalin issued his infamous Order No. 227, declaring not one step back, forbidding retreat under any circumstances. The German forces, stretched thin and utterly exhausted, struggled just to maintain their supply lines. Then winter arrived. Temperatures plunged far below freezing. Weapons jammed, food vanished, and soldiers on both sides froze to death where they stood. Yet even as the savage fighting raged inside the city, Soviet commanders were preparing a massive counteroffensive. They had identified a fatal weakness in the German flanks, which were guarded by poorly equipped Allied troops from Romania, Italy, and Hungary. On November 19, 1942, the Red Army launched Operation Uranus. They smashed through the weakened flanks with overwhelming force and completely encircled the entire German Sixth Army inside Stalingrad. More than 250,000 Axis soldiers were trapped. The German dictator, in a fit of rage, ordered them to hold their positions, promising he would supply them by air. But the Luftwaffe couldn't deliver nearly enough food, fuel, or ammunition. Starvation set in, disease spread like wildfire, and a chilling desperation consumed the trapped army as Soviet forces slowly tightened the noose around them. By January 1943, organized resistance had all but collapsed. On February 2, Field Marshal Friedrich Paulus surrendered, marking the first time a German field marshal had ever surrendered in battle. Of the nearly 91,000 soldiers taken prisoner, only a few thousand would ever see their homes again. Stalingrad was reduced to ashes. The battle claimed more than 2 million soldiers and civilians, killed or wounded, making it one of the costliest in human history. But its impact reshaped the entire war. The myth of German invincibility was shattered forever. The momentum of World War II shifted permanently, and from the frozen ruins of this one city, the long, bloody road to Berlin began. If you appreciate fact-based history stories like this, please support the channel by subscribing, because history is best remembered when it is told well.